First question is from the Sarasar Upanishad. Dear Acharya Pranam, Sarasar Upanishad states, the master of self looks upon the body and such like things other than the self as itself. This egoism is the bondage of the soul. The cessation of that egoism is moksha, liberation. That which causes that egoism is avidya, patience. That by which this egoism is completely turned back is vidya, true knowledge. I find myself identified with the body as me. But when I close my eyes, I can distinctly notice a blank state, kind of a no state, and along with that, I see the sense perceptions coming from the body and the thoughts. And with the eyes opened again, this blank state, while still existing, becomes less intense. Is this still the ego creating the illusion? What does it mean when the Upanishad says that by which this egoism is completely turned back is vidya, knowledge? What is turning back? Thank you for answering. Regards, Pradeep. Pradeep, this question is a coming forward. That should tell you what is meant by turning back. You see, what is it that you have expressed and claimed here? You have said that when you close your eyes, you feel a certain peace, you become the watcher and such things, and when you open the eyes and these things. Here again, the center of your statement as well as the center of your being seem to be the eyes. Eyes closed, you claim one state. Eyes opened, you claim another. It doesn't matter how the states change and where the states are coming from. What is important here is that the states are hinged upon the state of the eyes. So your entire spiritual experience is then coming from the state of the eye, which is the body. This is a coming forward from your natural state. This coming forward can also be termed as estrangement. Like a little kid who has come forward from the peace and safety and sanctity of his house into the wilderness. He has come forward. It is not a forward movement synonymous with advancement. It is rather synonymous with estrangement. If you are already home and you come forward, is it really an advancement or progress? Yes?
No.
It is rather a needless, mad, and self-defeating movement. Vidya is this realization. Now, Vidya cannot be the same kind of knowledge that tells you to achieve premised on the achievement premised on a sense of incompleteness. Vidya therefore asks you to look at where you are, because where you are is already an advancement. And I repeat, I am not using the word as advancement here in any so-called positive sense. Vidya says you have already come so far ahead. Won't you want to look at what you have already done? And when you see that your movement has been a movement in blindness, in needlessness, then the urge to keep pressing ahead diminishes, vanishes, and then what you have is called a turning back. No more now do you want to continue with your old ways. There are three states of the spiritual seeker. In the first state, he is so very assured of himself that he does not even want to question. This is the tamasic state. I am already alright. And if there are any questions, I am so very alright that I have the capacity to answer them by myself and for myself. Such a seeker, as you would have guessed by now, is no seeker at all. He is an anti-seeker. He does not have any questions. In fact, the very idea of having questions about oneself is alien to him. The tamasic seeker. Then there is another category of seekers whose questions arise from where they are. So if they are running ahead, pressing ahead, surging ahead, they would ask how to continue in these very same directions with greater resolve, greater accuracy and greater success. They are questioning from where they are. This is the Rajasic questioner. He is hell-bent on doing what he has decided to do. If at all he needs help, the help is needed just to have more speed, greater success in the same direction as he has already determined. Then there is the Sattvic seeker. He does not question from where he is. He questions where he is. He does not say, here I am, and how do I move forward from here? This one says, Why am I here at all? Do I know where I am? And oh God, do I know who is there where I think I am? Simply put, who am I? This is the sattvic category of questions. Questioning what I have already achieved. Questioning what I have already become, what I have already turned myself into. This is genuine self-inquiry. It questions the questioner itself. The question turns back upon the questioner. Every question then is a danger to the questioner. In the tamasic state, there is no question. In the rajasic state, every question is intended to bring pleasure to the questioner. Pleasure and greater success to the questioner. And in the sattvic state, every question is a threat to the questioner, because the question will question the questioner, disrupt the questioner, maybe even invalidate the questioner. Getting it? Now do you know the difference between avidya and vidya? The kind of knowledge that helps you further your own intentions is avidya. You want to know the way to the liquor shop? I will give you that knowledge. This knowledge is quick. Avidya. In avidya, the ego decides the ends. The ego is the beginner, and therefore the end too is the strengthening of the ego. And the knowledge is just the means. The ego decides where to go, and the knowledge is needed to know the way. This is avidya. You want to learn how to make a bomb? I will teach you. This too is knowledge. Such knowledge is called avidya. And I am giving you only obviously violent and disruptive examples. We don't harm ourselves only by way of bomb blasts. We harm ourselves in a million ways. You want to earn more money for your psychological gratification? I will teach you how to earn more money. This is surely avidya. You want to learn the ways of nature? I will not ask you, why do you want to learn the ways of nature? Because if I ask you, I will come to know that mostly you want to know about nature in order to exploit her. So if you want to know the ways of nature in order to exploit her, I will give you knowledge about nature. And when I say nature, I mean physical nature, prakriti. This knowledge is avidya. So now you see what our universities are mostly dealing in. Is it vidya or? Our schools must be called avidyalayas, not vidyalaya. You want to extract more money from a customer, we'll teach you the strategy. These courses will not ask you why do you need more money and who is the one who needs more money. Did you have such a course in your MBA program which questioned your very intentions? You won't have such a course. Because if such a course is there, it will start overriding all the other courses. They will teach you strategy. They will never ask you who is the strategizer. They will not ask you why do you need this strategy at all. The ends are never questioned. The means are provided. This is Rajasic knowledge called avidya. And to reiterate, the tamasic mind does not need any knowledge. The tamasic mind says, I already have it. Let me just sleep. All I need is good sleep. And if at all you want to tell me something, just tell me where can I have some good food before I pass off. That's all that the tamasic mind needs. The tamasic one is not even interested in achievement. Vidya is to not to give credence to your questions. Vidya is to turn the question upon itself. Therefore, Vidya is very, very dangerous. And therefore, you do not have people or institutions dealing in Vidya. Who would want to pay for his own demolition? Who would enroll in those institutions? Who would say, I am paying the course fee and investing an year or 2 or 4 of my life so that I get undone, so that I unbecome. It's like paying a contract killer to kill yourself. Vidya is dangerous. Did I say there are 4 stages or 3?
3.
Wow. Now, like all things 3, there is a 4th one underlying. Which are the other 3 states below which there is always a 4th one? So here too, there is a 4th one as well. In the 4th one, there are really no questions. To that extent, this 4th stage looks a bit like the tamasic stage. No, the questions are calm. The great question has eaten away all other questions. And having eaten away all the questions, he has now gone to sleep. So there is nothing. Pradeep, please look at the question itself. On one hand, you say that body identification is something you want to get rid of. On the other hand, you talk about your eyes and your mental states as if they are so very important. What else is identification? There is one fellow who says, I am the body, I am the body. And he keeps uttering that. And there is another fellow who keeps uttering, I am not the body, I am not the body. Is the second one any less body identified than the first one? What is the center of the utterances of both of these?
Body.
The body. I'm quite sure your right arm is doing well. Are you continuously talking or thinking about it? Are you in continuous celebration? And the subject of celebration being the right arm, because the right arm is healthy, not troubled. Is that so?
No.
When a thing is properly placed, you talk about it. Why do you talk about these things? Why? Sometimes you talk about them because you are unhappy with them. Sometimes you talk about them because you are happy with them. But what you ensure is, this way or that way, you will talk only about these same things. My salary is small, my salary is big. My salary is small, my salary is big. I'm okay with my salary, I'm not okay with my salary. What's the center of your thinking? My wife is a dove, my wife is devil. My wife is dove, my wife is devil. My wife is a dove, my wife is devil. How does it matter what your wife is? What matters is that she is always sitting in your head. This way or that way, you will talk only about her. Why do you talk about these things? Why don't you see where your queries, your worries, your pleasures, your grievances are coming from? Why don't you study their center? That which makes you happy today will make you sad tomorrow. The happiness does not matter. Question the subject of the happiness. What is it that you are feeling great about? What is it that you are feeling low about? What is it? I sometimes advise people, even if you have to have a grudge against somebody, have a grudge against God, at least God is the center of the grudge. It doesn't matter what dealing you have with God. At least your dealing is with God. If you can't praise God, abuse Him. Even in abusing God, what is ensured is that you are insulated from the world. It doesn't matter what you are saying. What matters much more is what is it that you are talking about. The content of your talk is not so very important. The subject of your talk is important. Even if you have to joke about totality. Let your jokes be lofty. What you say about the truth or existence or totality doesn't matter, because nothing accurate can be said about them. Nothing precise can be said about them. But what would be great is that you have chosen to talk about them rather than this or that. You look at the great castles of yesteryears, don't you? There would be a great palace or huge temple or a marvel of architecture, centuries old, and you visit it. Even if it is in ruins, you visit it. That's the thing about greatness. It is worth visiting even if it is in ruins. And a hut of today, even if it is sparkling clean, is it worth visiting? And the demolished remains of yesterday, they are surely worth visiting. When you stand in front of them, you too are infused with a sense of greatness, aren't you? And what are they? They are devastated structures. They are graveyards. And yet, they are worth admiring. That's what I'm talking of. Even if you visit a ruin, let it be a great ruin that you visit. Even if you talk inaccurately about greatness. That would be far better than talking accurately about trivia. Why are you dealing in trivia? Last Sunday, we were at Humayun's tomb. A session took place there. And parts of that structure are still in shambles. And close to that are many recent structures new houses, new shops, well kept, well maintained. Did we even throw one glance at these recent, well maintained, sparkling structures? Did we? We did not. It is greatness that matters. Talk only about that. Why, in your various questions, are you repeatedly referring to the little? The little is very cute, clever, and cunning. Even if you refer to it in order to get rid of it, it only gets bolstered. The only way to get rid of it is to not to refer to it at all. Forget it. And you can't forget it by pushing it into oblivion. You have to crowd it out. You have to fill yourself up with greatness. Your mental space must be occupied by something so humongous, so terribly important, so large that the trivia is crowded out. That there is no space left for the little. This is Vidya. Huge questions can arise in the mind about little things, petty things. Don't look at how the whole thing has been inflated. See what lies at the center of the thing. And man makes mistakes. You call the two world wars as great wars, don't you? And what was at the center of those wars? Greed and competition and violence. Was there anything else? But still you choose to call them great wars without seeing what the center of those things is. Similar are our lives. A lot is done by us. Apparently huge structures are created, great endeavors are undertaken, but what lies at their center? Some petty concern. A huge wedding is taking place, and what lies at the center of that? Ego. But you give so much importance to the whole affair. You don't see what is at the center of the whole thing. I repeat. A devastated palace is a more enriching sight than a sparkling, little, cute shop of today. You call an emperor a great one. There are so many emperors with whom you associate the word great. Tom the Great. And why do you call them great? Because their empires were large and such things. And you don't bother to see what is at the center of all that. Your queries might be very expansive, but if only self-preservation is at the center of your queries, then what's the point in querying? And self-preservation will not call itself self-preservation. Self-preservation may even wear the clothes of self-inquiry. Why get into the mess at all? Don't support small things. Don't even reject them. Just get into greatness. Simple. When you support small things, obviously you are indulging in smallness. But even when you reject small things, again you are indulging in smallness. Just get out of that domain. Get into greatness. And how does one get into greatness? By being where one already is. Greatness is your nature. Look at smallness and don't be attracted. Attracted neither to support it, not even to reject it. Two men are chasing two cows. And both look just the same. Later it turned out that one was chasing the cow to kill it and eat it, and the other one was chasing to bring it back home. He owned and possessed the cow. But is the state of these two any different from each other? They are in similar states. It doesn't matter what you are chasing trivia for. Ultimately, you are just chasing trivia. You might be chasing trivia to kill it. You might be chasing trivia to bring it home. Be above these things. What if I sit here and start talking to you how I felt while ascending this small hillock? Is that worth my time and yours? Should I talk about that? I will neither say that these things are important, and I won't even invest my time in saying that they are unimportant. I just won't talk about them. And that's why you listen to me. Because I don't talk about trivia. There is immense joy in living in greatness. Be there.